Hey, folks, Greg AtLast. You don't have to wait so long this time since my last appearance because we had big news yesterday. Trump versus Comey for the heavyweight political battle of the inside the Beltway world. What it really boiled down to is they've been two delusional peas stuck in the same pod for at least 4 months, or at least 6 months since you go back to last November's election. Both delusional. And finally, Comey, as we found out yesterday, got more devious. I'm back here to look at how both of them, and both followers sets they had, have gotten more delusional over time, and some of the other fallout that this has, and why we've got to stop it. So I've got the redneck deerstalker back on, with Time Red trumping MAGA Red, and I'll talk more about that a little bit too. First, Donald J. Trump. Delusional. Everybody from a John Kasich Republican to the left who's honest about it, and it's not just left or right, there's plenty of libertarians too who will tell you. Donald J. Trump is delusional. He's delusional in that he thinks he's making America great. Republicans and libertarians who aren't Neanderthals on race issues know the truth. The real truth is Time, truth, T, is that Donald Trump is really trying to make America into Leave It to Beaver again, where all the houses had white picket fences outside the lawns and white smiley whitey faces inside the windows. That's not my America, and it wasn't all of America since then. Related to that, the most ardent Trump-trained writers are also delusional, and they break down into two subclasses. The one class is those who really don't know that much better. I sympathize with them. They're the people stuck in jobs with no pay raises for a decade, or who even lost jobs in the past and had to go down the pay scale to stay employed. Maybe they're not employed. Maybe they're on disability, whether it's real disability or they're scamming it like black alleged welfare claims or not. More on that in a minute, too. They are in real pain. But you know what? That's the same real pain that a significant majority of African Americans were in nearly 400 years ago. Jamestown, 1619. First slaves in what became the United States of America. Even today, with affirmative action and civil rights issues, there's a fair chunk of black America that's never gotten out of that trapped pain. Welcome to the club, Trump-tained writers group on. I'm sorry, but if you are in that much pain, you ought to extend sympathy back to the minorities who've been in that pain even longer. The second half of the Trump-trained writers who are delusional are those who could or should know better if they wanted to. If they look closely, they would know that Trump's MAGA program on his economic side is really Ronald Reagan's trickle-down economics without even pretending that much that it's raining while he's peeing on our legs. But they're delusionally drunk on the cheap Thunderbird Blanc of Hillary Clinton hate. And that leads us to the other original delusional pea in the pod, James Comey. Last summer, your correspondent and investigator thought that Comey was just trying to play both political ends against the middle to come out looking like a halfway good FBI chief, whoever got elected. But today, or yesterday that is, in his testimony, that was all shattered. Even before Loretta Lynch committed tarmac with the slickster, it looks like James Comey was doing more than playing both ends against the middle politically. Rather, his delusion seems to have been that he saw himself as the white knight on the white charger horse riding in to save the situation and make it all right again. I almost said white the third time. We're on a theme here. Maybe that is what he meant. I mean, he was the FBI director, and the FBI spied on plenty of non-white people over the decades. Anyway, that's James Comey. He put the Hillbots, Hillbott, Hillbot, he put the Hillbots in the bind. Because first, he ended the investigation, even when Lynch committed tarmac, but said, Hillary Clinton was yanking our chains with this email server, even though I'm not going to pursue the investigation further. Then, when some of her emails popped up on Anthony's wiener, he reopened it, whether Lynch wanted him to or not. But then he closed it again. Again, it looked like he was playing both ends against the middle. But really, in hindsight, it looks like he's delusional that he's trying to save the Republic from the worst of either Clinton or Trump and try to put both of them at least somewhat in his control. Mr. Comey, that's not the way things work. The FBI director, as a bureaucrat of a federal agency, is responsible to the federal bureaucrat above him, which was Lynch, and after January 20th, Jeff Sessions, for better or for worse. Ultimately, he's responsible to the president, who is the executive and thus is the ultimate manager of federal agencies. Period. End of story. Our founding fathers considered forcing officials to stay in office once a president kept them there, but rejected that. Radicals in Congress passed the Tenure and Act office and forced that on Andrew Johnson, but the Supreme Court much later, declared that unconstitutional. Donald Trump has the right to fire James Comey. And as far as we know, Vladimir Putin did not control the elections last year, and more on that in a minute. Hillbots have been on and off the hook whether to stay with Comey or ditch him in their own delusion, grasping at any straw that would hit Trump, especially if they could tie it to Putin did it. And that's going to get us to the third delusional person who did not appear in the same pod, Reality Winner. Reality Winner, the NSA contractor arrested recently for passing a secret document to the Intercept. That document itself was about as much of a nothing burger as Comey's testimony. And if Reality Winner had actual experience that went with her top secret snooping classification, she would have recognized that right off the bat and wouldn't have sent that document to the Intercept for them to screw up. And yes, Glenn Greenwald, you screwed it up, you fucked it up royally. Well, your staff did, but you're their boss, like Trump is Comey's boss. You fucked it up. Anyway, Reality Winner, it's now turning out, according to the prosecution's claims, is so delusional about this Putin did it bullshit herself that she supposedly, literally, wanted to burn down the White House. That's what the prosecution claims. Not metaphorically, but literally, wanted to burn down the White House. That's how delusional Reality Winner got. And I blame that on Hillbots, not the amateur Hillbots who are disappointed that Hillary Clinton lost the election and can't admit that she fucked it up. The professional Hillbots, like Center for American Progress, the New York Times, Josh Marshall, Daily Cause, those folks who knew that Hillary Clinton fucked it up, but refused to admit it because Putin did it. Bullshit. You've now gotten a 25-year-old girl who probably was easily manipulatable even before this to believing that Vladimir Putin is the great Satan. He's not. Period. End of story. I'm sorry you folks got a longer rant than normal, but this needed to be said. Hillbots, playing off Donald Trump as an idiot, got Reality Winner arrested. At the same time, you Trump train riders need to face reality. Donald Trump is not marrying. Besides Leave It to Beaver, he is making Donald J. Trump again. Donald Trump loves America only to the degree that it helps Donald J. Trump love Donald J. Trump. Period. End of story. Get that through your heads. Because Greg AtLast is going to tell you that again and again. Thank you.